5-Minute Mom. So, Facebook, Twitter, still going strong. Instagram, come under fire lately. As a friend of mine pointed out, they've been doing all of these things all along. They're just making it public now. And we've kind of known that, I think, somewhere in the back of our heads when we click those terms and conditions that we're like, yeah, I'm giving up some of my privacy here. I'll link a kind of funny take on the Instagram thing in the description so you could watch that. It's the JP Sears one, and I think he's hilarious. He's not everyone's style of humor, but he does include like texts from the or sections of text from the actual terms and conditions for Instagram's new thing. So you might find that interesting. So here's the thing with social media. I'm going to keep repeating it because I feel like it's worth repeating. Social media used to be about bringing people together initially. People felt connected with friends they went to high school with, people they hadn't seen in forever, people that live in all different places around the United States or around the world. It was really an amazing thing to see people's kids and to see where they are now, and for people to get connected and experience different viewpoints and have discussion and have kind of a global network, social network. And it brought people together, right? It kind of, yeah, that's what it did. So Facebook doesn't do that anymore. Twitter, I don't even know really what the point of Twitter ever was. Just like little, bits of information thrown at you or people's opinions, or I don't know. Maybe somebody can comment with what the point of Twitter ever was. It's always interesting. It's like the Wild West of social media, or it was. It was that. Now it's like, I don't even know. Just terrible. So there's obviously been a lot of censorship in one direction, which hasn't really worked. So here's the thing with social media. And I mean, like, to be honest and to be fair, I mean all social media at this point. So I mean Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, Parler, all of those. What's happening is they're being used to divide Americans, right? That's what I see. Now, I've been off Facebook for months now, five months, I think. And I've been off Twitter for at least a month. But I'm not hearing from any of my friends or relatives that it's gotten any better. In fact, what I'm hearing from friends and relatives is, you should have seen what so-and-so posted. She has gone off the deep end. Or, I can't believe people just won't, I can't make them see the truth in this. I just can't make them understand. It's just division. That's what it's all about. Understand that it is highly, highly addictive. Those sites are highly addictive. The instant information, the instant likes or comments, and it's set up to reel you back in when you're inactive. And if you are inactive for a period of time, you'll notice that you're getting notifications that you don't usually get. I noticed that even with YouTube, which is really the only part of social media that I still take part in, that if I'm not on, like I gave up YouTube for a week, I started getting these notifications that I never used to get before, like promoting just all sorts of stuff, anything to try and get me back on their platform, which is interesting. It's a gambling model. It's like a slot machine. Ding, 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 ding. They want to keep you going, and they'll give you a win every so often. If you haven't watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix yet, that's good. You can just look up The Social Dilemma or Why Everyone Should Get Off Facebook or whatever on YouTube, and it'll start giving you videos from the people who are working towards, I forget what they call it, but yeah, bringing humanity back to social media. I think it's too late for that. It's just my opinion. But I know it's hard to leave those platforms, and people have different reasons for wanting to stay on there. But I just say, give it a week. Give it a week, or check out what you post and what you comment on. For 3 days. Have a little notebook by your, somewhere. I was going to say computer, but I think people are usually on their phones. Write down everything you post and everything you comment on. And I know, because I know my handful of viewers, some of you really are just getting on to catch up with people and you're ignoring everything else. But take a second, and maybe not then just what you post and what you comment on, but the title of every article that you read, that even when you're scrolling by, every title that you look at that goes into your brain. Okay? Because the whole point is division, right? The whole point is to have a country, first of all, in fear, second of all, divided. So if you're angry and you feel like you want to fight when you get off Facebook, there's a reason for that. If you're having a conversation with someone and in your head is all of this garbage that you've seen on Facebook, and this has happened to me several times, that people, even though they know I'm not on Facebook, they assume that I have been looking at all these articles and reading all these posts, and they have all of that in their head, and they assume too much of what I'm saying. I can say one little thing, and they're like, well, and they start arguing with me, and I'm like, whoa, that's not what I was saying at all. But the assumption is, because there's all of this in your head, you're ready to fight with anyone who just sounds at all like something that you've read on Facebook. And it's overwhelming. I think for a lot of people right now, it's the intentional division is overwhelming, and it's hard on people's emotions, and it's hard on people's minds to have so much garbage and so much conflict in their head. We don't need that in our life. Right now, we need to be praying for an overabundance of God's grace and peace. It's going to be rough in the days ahead. It is. 2021 is probably going to be a little bit of a bear initially. And we need to come together as a country, right? And I'm not saying forget anything. I'm not saying we need to forget anything. I'm just saying we need to remember people essentially are good. The majority of people essentially are good, and they want what's good for the nation. Most people that I know, they want what's good for my family, for my children, for my husband, for our welfare. Most people want the American dollar to stay strong. Most people want people to be able to feed their families. Most people want health and safety for our nation. So staying in communication, like actual communication with people, instead of social media, which is just false communication, it's not. It's most of the time, it's not how people would act in reality. And if it is how people would act in reality, then some people need to rethink, how they're acting in reality. The other thing is, I find being off of Facebook and Twitter, although I didn't know anybody, I didn't follow anybody I knew in real life in Twitter. I didn't interact with anybody that I knew in real life on Twitter. So Facebook specifically, now that I'm not on it, people still text me, and they do send me articles or things that I might find interesting, but I'm not seeing the whole of my acquaintances and other people's acquaintances and everybody's comments on everything else. I'm seeing when people see something and they're actually friends with me, they're saying, Jenny might find this interesting. And so they send it to me. And guess what? I respond specifically to that person with what my opinion is on what they sent me. I stop and think about it. And I say, and I'm much more likely to read it than if I'm scrolling and they tag me in something. The other thing is, people that send me things, I can take a minute or two and verify before I send it to someone else. I could say, well, that's interesting. I can go verify this. It's really easy. It's really easy to verify things. The CDC has their website there. You can verify all sorts of things that are on that. So it's super easy to do that. And then if I find that it's interesting, I can say, I think my brother would like this video, maybe. And then maybe sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. Or I think my dad would like this, or this might be information that my sister would want to know. And I can choose to share that with them specifically. And so it's communicating with people and building a relationship in a way that is respectful and in a way that, honestly, it's not psychologically manipulative, or it shouldn't be. But, some people are, most people aren't. Again, most people are not trying to psychologically manipulate you. But when you're on Facebook, the algorithm itself is promoting whatever it's being paid to promote. So right now, I feel very strongly it's being paid to promote primarily division and anger against American people. Really, we need to come together and figure out where our efforts and energy, where that needs to be directed. Because I see it where it needs to go in two directions. We need to start building back America and helping out the people who are most in need right now. And we need to correctly structure and reorder our government, which is failing us miserably. So those are two things that I think we really need to look at. A lot of baloney that's going on. So I'm officially way over 5 minutes. But congratulations if you hung in there until the end. That is my opinion on Facebook, which you've heard several times. God bless you. Good measure, packed down, flowing over. Happy New Year. Make it a resolution. Make it a resolution to give up Facebook the first week of your new year. Just because you can. And if you really feel like you can't, you should be asking yourself why. And maybe you feel like, I'm not going to do that because Facebook has no power over me. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Have a safe New Year's. If you plan to party, I will probably fall asleep by 10 or 11 and get up early with my kids because that's how life goes for this mom.